Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Send Him Off. Another week, another episode. I'm feeling good this week, Al. You know, my ever-present
Right,
podcasting
thank
partner.
you. I thought you were going
Right.
to do it then. You caught me out.
Oh, I've got to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. Right. Okay, so it's another what football means to me. We're not
It
going to
is.
dilly-dally about, Sam. Off we go.
No,
You have
today we
you
are
have sort of
joined.
pre-prepared this one.
Yeah, we are. We're joined by actor, comedian, fellow podcaster, and Liverpool fan, Tom Price. How you
Hello,
doing?
guys. Hi, how's it going? You all right?
Yeah, good, mate.
Great.
How are you?
Awesome, yeah.
Well, you say about you're feeling good about this one, right? It's because we're recording this. What is it? Wednesday, the 11th of May, and tonight, City are playing Wolves, and oh my God, I've said this week after week. Every time City have come up against what's it been? Watford, Leeds, Norwich, last few weeks. Every time I've been saying tonight's tonight, guys. I've got your listeners will now know. They know what's happened this evening, right? So hello to the future. I've just got a feeling about this evening about the City Wolves game. I've just got. I'm not saying Liverpool are going to win the league. I've just got a weird feeling. That's all I want to say.
There we are. Psychic.
Time will tell. Time
will
will
see.
tell. Yeah.
We'll see. Judging by, I mean, it could be 2 hours, and that could age horrifically.
Yeah.
Oh, it will.
What
I've
we
no
should
doubt.
do-
We'll see.
what
But
we
it
should
could be
do,
2 hours,
like-
and you could be a genius.
Yeah.
Either right. What we should do, Tom? You give two different reactions. So either you say, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gutted," because this is going out later. Say, "Oh, I'm gutted." That's good. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So part one's going to be. I told you guys. I knew it. City are going to have a wobble.
Yeah, you did
And
say.
I did say, lads.
you did.
This season it's not over until it's over.
Cat,
part-
right?
Yeah.
Part
guys.
two.
And part B is, yeah, listen, the City are a wonderful team. It's unlucky that we are one of the best Liverpool teams ever at the same time that City are one of the best football teams ever. And that's the way it goes. It's fine. We're going to win the FA Cup later on today. And we're going to win the Champions League. It's all good.
There we
There we are. Covered
Lovely.
it.
Smashed it,
Awesome.
guys.
Seamless.
On the quadruple,
Yeah.
Tom, just before we get into what football means to you, is the league the only one that you're having a little bit of a wobble about? Are you confident in the FA Cup? Are you confident in the Champions League?
Listen, the one I'm most confident about is the big one, and that's the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
That's under the belt. He's happy with that.
I think for me, I think we've got that. I think we have got that in the bag. I just think, what do I think? Oh my God, my palms are starting to sweat when I think about it. I don't think we're going to win the Premier League in all seriousness. I don't think we can. I think, especially after, as I've just seen on Twitter, the news is just breaking this afternoon and this evening about Fabinho being injured. That's massive.
Yeah.
The lighthouse, man. When your lighthouse is down, you're going to hit the rocks. So I'm worried about that because Fabinho, he is the tent pole. I know Virgil's that as well, but he's sort of tent pole part two, and he allows Thiago to do what he does. And when we've had the sprinkling of magic in Magic April, as it was for us, it was because Thiago was allowed to do some absolutely wild stuff, defending as well as attacking. I might add, Thiago's defense is unfathomable, unfathomable what he does as a defender. So, and to answer your question, how am I feeling about the quadruple? We're not going to win the quadruple, of course we're not. I think we've got a good chance in the FA Cup final, and if Fabinho is back, I think we've got a good chance in the Champions League. I'm so sitting on the fence, lads. That's all you're going to get.
So the
That's a
treble's still on, is what he
politician's
say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a politician's answer.
That is, isn't it? I think the treble is on. I do, actually. Because we can beat that Chelsea side, because Chelsea have not had a good run, and we can definitely beat Real Madrid. It's unbelievable.
Do you really think against that Madrid side though?
Yeah.
They'll want to do it again, and Benzema is firing. So how confident are you? Be honest on a scale of 1 to 10. Because if I was a Liverpool fan,
Yeah.
I'd be doing the old 5 pence, 50 pence if I was if I was you.
But when did we play them last? Did we play them last year? Real Madrid. I'm sure we played them recently, and I think we can keep them at bay. I think Liverpool, when we are all out attack, it neutralises people like him. Listen, he's an incredible player. They are a good team. There's no doubt about it. But when we're on our day, we can beat anyone. And so you kind of have to, I tell you, here's the thing, right? Here's a lesson we've all learnt this year more than ever. Ignore individuals, man. I mean, it's a cliche that you're told as a kid when you start playing. Ignore individuals. Ignore the fact Haaland's going to City. Ignore the fact Ronaldo went back to United. Ignore the fact Sancho went to United. Look what's happened to them. It's all about the team, man. It's all about the team. And yes, Real Madrid have got individuals, but as a team, we are a better team. So I do think if our plans work, then we will win. We will win a triple.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Yeah. Right. Enough treble, quadruple talk.
Good.
Let's get into why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
What football means to me. We'll start off with our something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. So first of all, you're something old. Your favorite retired player, please, Tom.
Now, we always say before we get into it, doesn't have to be Liverpool necessarily.
No.
Okay.
Can be anyone.
My favorite retired player. Thing is, right, I live right by Arsenal. Classic plastic scouts. I'm a plastic Welshman, right?
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm Welsh. I'm a plastic scouse. I live in North London, but obviously I'd want to mention any number of retired Liverpool players: Ian Rush, Kenny, John Barnes, McManaman, Stan Collymore. Why not? Let's go for Stan Collymore. There you are. This is a curveball because I know he's had some shonky moments in the last couple of years, specifically things going on in lay-bys, but. I remember watching Newcastle Liverpool in about 91 or 92, maybe a bit, somewhere around then. And it was my mum had just got Sky Sports because I'd nagged her into it, and I've been brought up on rugby. I mean, I grew up; it was all about the rugby, and I still love rugby, although Wales aren't so good at the moment. But I just discovered football watching it on Sky, and I watched this random. I was like, "Oh, stick a football match on, Liverpool are on." I've been supporting them for a couple of years. I started supporting them when I was 9. I was like, oh great, I can watch them now. This is when I was like 11 or 12, and it was the game that you were way too young to remember this. It went like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. It just did that all the way up, and then we scored. Stan Collymore scored in like the 93rd minute to win it 4-3. And it was one of those moments where sport baits you, doesn't it? Sport just hooks you. You're like a fish, and that's it. You're barbed for life. Like. From that day on, if people said, "Do you like sport?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I love because sport has just made me stand on the chair screaming." So, Stan Collymore, please.
Stan Collymore, something old.
Good
answer, yeah. Something new. Favorite current footballer? Again, doesn't necessarily have to be Liverpool.
It's gonna be.
We can see where it's going.
It's gonna be. I'm trying to think if there's any players at other teams. Do you know what? I love Son. I absolutely love Son. I went to watch the last North London derby. And I sat, my mate's got a season ticket, and I sat with my 8-year-old, and we're neutrals. We just enjoyed it, and we watched, and we heard the language, the absolute bile and filth coming out of the Arsenal fans' mouths. And at the end, my mate, whose tickets they were, because he wasn't there, he just lent them to us. He was like, "Good seats, aren't they?" I was like, "Yeah, they were fantastic." He went, "Yeah, they're in the family zone." Okay, cool. But watching that game and there was a moment when Son got fouled right in front of us, and he got up, he leapt up, and he just grinned from ear to ear. And I just thought, that lad is just having so much fun. And he is a player who Liverpool would. So in fact, someone's written an article about it today saying Liverpool should be looking at Son and Kane, which is bizarre. But Son is someone who I absolutely adore, and I love him. However, he's not who I'm going to choose. Obviously,
I was going to say, is he your favourite? Don't lie now.
It's obviously Diaz. Of course, it's Diaz.
Luis Diaz.
Luis
Diaz.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet the other day which says Luis Diaz plays constantly like his missus has come to watch him.
Yeah,
I think it's my favourite tweet of the year. It's spot on. It's spot on. Like he just pulls out a trick, and I'm like, it looked lovely, but why?
Yeah. Also, why? Yeah.
I would say to slightly nuance that quote up, it's not his missus, it's a potential.
Yeah.
100%.
He hasn't got to third base.
He's flirting with the ball. Yeah.
That's it. And he's trying to show her what he's capable of. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Something else. Something new. Something borrowed. So your favourite loaned player?
This is for Liverpool.
Yes. What's his name? Who's that defender we had last year when we had the defence disaster? And he was Kabak. Actually, did we buy Kabak? Maybe we bought him actually. I
don't think you did. I think he was from Schalke because he's at Norwich now, isn't he?
He's gone to Norwich, yeah, and so he's going down, I guess. But I just remember Nat Phillips as well. He's not alone. Obviously, we bought him and then we loaned him out to Bournemouth. But there was something about Kabak. He was just he just looked like the pressure of what happened last season when we lost all our defenders, and watching those lads who were drafted in. I know Ben Davis appeared as well. That was really weird. And Kabak played some big games for us in Europe, especially, and was instrumental, as was Nat Phillips, in getting us top 4. And then, the whole of the Liverpool expectation thing, which is a big thing at any club, but come on, let's be honest, Liverpool especially, we are giddy with our own hope and dreams at Liverpool. And I think that they brought that really well. I was always really impressed with him. I always really liked him. He may not have been alone though. I'm not. Maybe I'll defer to your superior knowledge there, Alex.
Sam, I was.
Sam, sorry,
don't worry. I have no knowledge.
I'm pretty sure he was alone. Yeah, he was.
But also, it's difficult for Liverpool because we don't take players on loans very often.
Yeah,
it's not.
I was going to say you're not one of those clubs here.
Tell you would be good on loan for Liverpool is Kyle Walker, but it wouldn't work. I'll tell you why actually, because you'll never walk alone.
Right. Okay. So
is this what happens?
I'm going.
He's doing this because we got a comedian on, right?
That's nice. This is my chances. This,
All right. Fine. Well,
I've had that one in the back pocket for about a year and a half. Saying that's been
He's been waiting for the perfect moment.
Simmering. Lovely.
What,
somebody somewhere listening in a car has laughed at that, and that's all I need.
Quite possibly your mum, Sam, but that's fine.
No, it'll probably be me when I listen back. I'll just be in bed tonight, like you'll never walk alone.
Classic.
Oh,
right. Something blue. Final one. Something blue. Player you were saddest to see leave your club.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be Suarez because of he was such a fantastic player, but he was problematic, shall we say? I was really sad when Torres went. Actually, I was gutted because also blue works actually. So let's go for
there.
Torres.
We are. Yeah, good point.
Because he, I loved him. I think I had a bit of a man crush on him, and I just loved the way he played, and I loved how I don't know. I felt like he was a proper clinical. He was really clinical, and he just had beautiful flowing locks. So it felt like I was half watching football, half watching Baywatch. And then he went to, and I was gutted when he went to Chelsea for 50 million, I think it was at the time. And but then the Liverpool thing happened, and it's happened to a lot of players, Coutinho as well. Big players at Liverpool, and they go, and it's never quite the same.
I could have seen it with Torres. Like, we were a bit younger, and when Torres left, I remember thinking, like, why have Chelsea, one, bought him, two, paid so much for him? I couldn't work it out. I mean, obviously, he won the Champions League, well, with that goal, the Gary Neville goal, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But, I mean, besides that, I can only remember him blazing one over the bar at Old Trafford.
Is he just retired now? Is he? I think he retired.
No, he retired. He went out to China, then he went back to Atletico Madrid. Now he is stacked. He's
massive, isn't he?
Yeah.
Have you seen him? Yeah. He is huge.
Is he about to go and start WWE or something?
He might well be. He might well be. I don't know.
That German keeper did that, doesn't he?
Yeah, Tim Weiss, I think. Isn't he?
Yeah, he's
gone out to WWE. Yeah, check him out. Check him out on his Instagram or something like that. But yeah, he is absolutely hench these days.
That might help with my man crush, to be honest, mate. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, his hair's not quite the same. He's gone for darker, sort of like quiff now. But
they've got to be quite thin, haven't they? Because you look at Traore and you're just like, that is not right. It is not right.
Apparently, Traore doesn't work out.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
I know. His legs are like the size of like my circumference. I don't believe it.
It's insane. But when you see him in his run, he does one of his amazing runs down the wing, which I haven't watched for a while because I haven't seen. He's at Barca now, isn't he, Traore? He's gone back to Barca, and it was always like watching a wrestler come out.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. I remember he came down the Liberty and he was playing for Middlesbrough at the time, and everybody just sort of in unison just went, "What on earth has just walked onto the field?" We didn't have a hope. We didn't have a hope.
He's like a bouncer for the rest of the
exactly.
Like a security guard. But he's apparently, by all accounts, he's had a good time at Barca, and he's got. I think his skills have got better because wasn't there problems with his touch and his passing? Wasn't there? That was his problem.
Yeah. Right. So the main portion of the questioning.
All right.
I commence it. So, what is your earliest? Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be so.
Thank you for talking me through the format. Thanks, Dermot O'Leary. So, what's next?
My light has fallen.
Right, it's gone to pot. Yeah. Anyway, right.
Go.
What is your earliest footballing memory?
It's probably the Newcastle Liverpool game when I watched it on my mum's new Sky Sports subscription. All answers now I will refer to.
Just refer to like question one.
It's like PMQs. I refer the right honourable gentleman to. Probably that. Or I mean, listen, I grew up at a school where you'd get bollocked if you got caught playing football. there was a terrifying teacher called Rod Seeley. He's very sadly died. Wonderful rugby coach, and but he hated football. He hated football, and he wouldn't have anyone play football. So in a way, my earliest memories of football were being not allowed to do it. And then I remember my brothers, hence why I'm a Liverpool fan, they were obsessed, a bit older than me, they were obsessed with Barnes and Rush and that, everything 80s and that whole generation. And so I remember they had scarves on the wall. I didn't really care, wasn't really interested in it. And then that all changed when I started watching those games on my mum's Sky Sports subscription in about 91, 92.
Wow.
There we are, not bad.
Quite similar to me, that, actually.
Is it? Oh, good.
Yeah,
I feel better.
I was allowed to play football in school, but
yeah, that is mental, isn't it? That I wasn't allowed to play.
That's crazy.
If kids went down to the rugby pitches, right, and they got a ball and started kicking it about, they would be like, they'd get punished. You'd be doing detentions. Can you believe that?
In my primary school, we were allowed to play football, but we had to play it with like a spongy ball. So on the days where it was like a bit soggy, we'd just be like kicking around this sort of soggy, sort of flannelly, whatever it was, and it would never really work. But it was still allowed, you know.
There's always that great story about, I think the comedian Daniel Kitson tells about piss ball. Do you know about piss ball? Have you heard of this game?
No.
Oh, basically, someone would get a tennis ball and roll it around the urinal, and go out into the playground and scream at the top of their lungs, "Piss ball!" Piss ball would commence. I have to add, that is not mine. That is the wonderful comedian Daniel Kitson's story, who tells it much better than me.
Next week we've got what piss ball means to me.
That's on our Patreon.
Yeah, good. Actually, we'll sort that out and we'll have you back for
lovely. Amazing. Right, what has been your biggest high of your time as a football fan?
My biggest high. I mean, it's so annoying. Obviously, 2005 was absolutely massive. Winning Champions League, but at the time I was just going out with my now wife, and we were actually having dinner that night, and I was sort of sneaking off to watch it. I was trying to impress her. I wasn't really watching it properly. I know, but I really fancied this girl, and I was right to, because we have kids.
I was going to say it paid off in the end, didn't it?
It paid off in the end. She's okay, but at the time I wasn't quite as engaged with it as I'd want to be. I was getting all these texts from my mates saying, "Where the fuck are you?" Well, can you swear us on this podcast or not? What's your?
Wow.
Yeah,
really will.
No,
I know.
It's fine, naughty.
No, because I know it means
on.
I know it means you've got to click the explicit thing, and sometimes podcasters don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I remember my mates were texting me going, "Where the fuck are you, man? This is all kicking off," you know. And anyway, so that, so I think, well, okay, all right. When we won the Premier League, there's a load of us who are Liverpool fans around here. We met up with a flag and a couple of bottles of champagne, and we walked around the streets of Arsenal with a flag.
I was going to say it all around North London with a Liverpool.
I know. But there's more fucking Liverpool fans around here than there are Arsenal fans. That was a wonderful moment. That was brilliant. That was proper spine tingling. However, the other day I went to watch Liverpool Tottenham, and I was in the Kop. And I've been in the Kop quite a few times, but I was really depressed because we were 1-0 down for ages, and Tottenham were just absolutely blocking everything, and it was a nightmare, and I could tell we weren't going to win it. And then Diaz scored that goal, which took, admittedly, this was only a goal to get to 1-1. But there was just a moment of pure joy. Like, it was mad. Just the intensity and the insanity of being in the Kop when an important goal. I've been in the Kop when goals go in, but to be in the Kop when a really important goal goes in like that, to keep us just on the very outskirts of possibility. I mean, just random men grabbing you, and you're grabbing random people. And I just remember I nearly blacked out because I was screaming so hard. I did my voice box in, which is great for a voiceover. I looked up and I could see the corrugated roof of the Kop, and I just thought, this is as good as it gets. I mean, that is a goal to go 1-0 against Tottenham. I mean, that is not winning the league or anything, but it felt.
It's all a moment, though, isn't it? It's where you are, what it means to you. That's the whole point of this, isn't it? But we know what you mean, because there's been times where we've been down the Liberty, whatever, Swans.com now, and goals have gone in, and we've lost. We've been grabbing people behind us, grabbing people in front of us. A goal against Cardiff, it was a derby. It was a couple of years ago. My mate nearly toppled over, nearly went a couple of rows down. It's one of them ones. I know what you mean.
Yeah. It was. It was such a release. I think it's because the tension had been going. We'd been 1-0 down for a good 40 minutes or so, including the interval, whatever. So half time. So that felt really. That felt electric. Electric. It was brilliant.
Fair play. Right. So we've had your highest point, lowest point. What's
Good.
been your lowest point as a football fan?
My lowest point as a football fan. It's tricky, isn't it? I liked Brendan Rodgers. I was sad when Brendan Rodgers went. Was that my lowest point? No.
So were we, actually.
Yeah. I know, man. He was great for you guys.
He was great, yeah. Superb. Really.
And it was reputation with you that made us sign him.
Yeah, probably my favorite manager of all time because of his
one of.
Yeah, well, I think I'm not gonna lie. I think Russ Martin's getting there, Al. I'm not. Russ Martin is getting there.
Russ Martin, Loudrop, and all. But this isn't about us.
No, it's not.
With it all.
But it's good to know that's where the next Liverpool manager is going to come from. Looking forward to Russ joining.
It's not out of the realms of possibility either, to be honest.
I think actually I know what it is. Of course I know what it is. Wales, Portugal, in the Euros. Oh my god! That was the full in the kit in a pub. Loads of mates.
You were in the kit, were you?
Yeah. Not fun. Listen, you could get the call. You could get the call. I was not involved. I was doing the classic middle-aged man, the dad kit wearing of a kit nicely tucked into my chinos. But you know,
nice. Okay, nice.
And I'd done that thing because obviously living in London, there's plenty of Welsh guys around, and I'd found a Welsh table, and I was with my mates who weren't Welsh, and I sort of gravitated towards the Welsh table, and there's just this thing, isn't it? And it happened. I know we're not allowed to talk about rugby, but it happened again in 2011. That my lowest sporting point is us getting out of the Rugby World Cup in 2011 when Sam Warburton got sent off outrageously for that spear tackle. It should not got sent off for that. And just this feeling of if we'd got to the final, we'd have won that. And watching what happened to Wales then, thinking, and then the final, as I remember, who was it in the final? I've forgotten now.
Portugal and France.
Yeah, maybe France.
Ed scored that goal.
Yeah, but I just remember thinking we could have had that. You never know. You never know what happens in a final. Yeah, we could have.
We could well have won it.
And I just, I felt very, very depressed for many, many days after that.
Yeah, it was a rough one. It was a great summer.
Oh, what a summer!
Yeah, but the whole, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I was talking to Ellis about this. Ellis James, obviously, massive. Finally, he talks about how that summer was better than his kids being born, and I get that. But I just always feel like I don't like settling for that. I don't like being, we had a good time. I'm always like, no,
we should have won.
But Wales need to, and I hope this is baked in for this game for us to try and get to the World Cup this year. We need to be qualifying for these tournaments, and we need to do well at these tournaments. We've got amazing players. Like, it needs to be much more less of a. We won a nice prize. It was a prize. It was nice just to be there. It's like,
happy to be there. Yeah.
We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. We should be. Look what we do in rugby. We punch way above our weight in rugby. We should do the same in football.
Agreed.
Well said.
What is your best away day that you've been on?
My best away day. Oh, that is a good question. So my brother used to be the CEO of Newport County.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Which is mental. And I went to watch them and obviously supported them. I mean, really, Newport should be my team, or Hereford. They're kind of equidistant from where I grew up in Monmouth. And I went to watch Newport against, was it Leighton? Was it Orient? Or was it someone? It was someone like that. I can't remember who it was against now. And my son was a mascot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was a mascot because he was like 5.
Yeah.
I had some connections at the club. Don't tell anyone. And he goes out in his full Newport kit, which he still follows Newport now. He's still always checking up on their scores and stuff like that. And it was brilliant to watch him going out there and doing that. We went into the changing room before. We met all the team. He got photos of all the team, got loads of signs. The whole program was signed. OB, the captain, then, he was fantastic. I think he's retired now. He's moved on. And it was just brilliant, and you got kids living your life through their eyes, just thinking he's always going to remember this. And it was intense, it was really intense. And the football was shite. I cannot emphasize this enough. Like, I got whiplash from doing it, from just looking up. It was like watching a tennis match. It was absolute bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Still loved it. Loved every second. But at the end, I was like,
loved every second.
I just don't think I saw more than 3 passes put together. The guys in the midfield, the goalies did more than the guys in midfield. You know those games?
Yeah.
Insane.
We had Steve Cooper as our manager. We are very familiar with those games.
Yeah, we know all about that. All about that, yeah.
Very familiar with those games.
It's so annoying. What are you doing?
Right.
Oh, it's your go on.
Question. Yeah. Question number 5. What is on your football bucket list?
So my football bucket list, definitely it's got to be to go and watch Wales in a major tournament. It's got to be, I'd love to go and watch Liverpool in Paris. If you guys, I'm sure you've got connections, right? It's a pretty big podcast, yeah?
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll link you. Don't worry.
We're in the hospitality box. So
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I saw how much the prices were the other day for that.
How much were they?
$5,000 a ticket.
See, I got it for free because my best friend's dad's dog sitter knows someone.
Yeah.
My best friend's dad's dog sitter is called Andy Robertson, so he gets
his
passport to get in. Yeah, so obviously, I mean, I'd love to watch that. I'd like to go to the away end of Old Trafford. I'd love to watch Liverpool win at Old Trafford. That would be fantastic. I mean, I could just go on, guys. This is just a great opportunity for me just to walk around all the nice things I'd like to watch. I would, yeah, it's really, because we might well win the Champions League, which is going to be insane and amazing and incredible. But I'm starting to sort of flick back towards the Premier League now and think, God, I'd love to win the Premier League. I really want to win the Premier League.
Would you like to be there when it's won?
Okay, so here's a story, right? This is one of the most horrific things ever. Are you ready for an agonizing story, right? This is proper.
I'd love to.
Stick sad music under this in the edit. So I go and watch Liverpool Man United. Liverpool Man United. Take my boy with me. At the time he was 7. And this was in the 2019-2020 season, i.e. that season, which was hit by the pandemic, but also very much the season where we won the Premier League. And we played Man United, and we went 1-0 up very early on, and it was insane. It was amazing. And then I was in the Kop, and it was brilliant. And then it got to, we were still 1-0 up. We'd had loads of near misses. Henderson nearly scored. Henderson somehow hit the post from point blank range. It was agony. Then in the 87th minute, no, less than that, about 85th minute, I looked and I realised that the train back home, there were 2 trains, right? There was one train, right? You know where this is going. There was one train that was leaving in 25 minutes and we could just make it. And my kid had school the next day. Sunday, it was a Sunday night game. Or I could stay, watch the rest of the game and get a much later train home, like get in at like 2 a.m. as opposed to 10:30, 11. And when you got 6-year-old, that's a no-brainer. We've got to go, lad. Listen, we're 1-0, let's leave, let's go. Booked the Uber in the Kop. I'm in there just about to get reception, jump out. As we're getting in the Uber, this noise goes up. And that was the moment. 2 things happened. Well, 3 things happened. Alisson passed to Salah. Salah scores in front of the Kop. Salah tears his shirt off in front of the Kop. That moment becomes, in all sports journalists writing about that season, all of them, moment of the season was the moment Salah scored in front of the Kop. And the whole Kops, for the first time, started chanting, "We're going to win the league, we're going to win the league." That was the first time they started chanting that for 30 years, because we'd not won it for 30 years. And I was in a fucking Toyota Prius going back to London.
I want to laugh, but I don't even know if I can.
It's not, guys. It's not.
It
makes me feel.
I gotta be honest, right? I haven't got any children, nor am I looking to have. I was gonna say I'll leave that for a little bit. Yeah. If I was there, the temptation to say, "Have a day off tomorrow,
mate." Yeah,
Mondays.
You, first of all, you haven't met my
wife. Did that cross your mind? Okay,
impossible with my wife. This is not going to happen. Hopefully, this story will be a prophylactic for anyone who's thinking about having kids. If you have kids, there's a chance you might miss the most iconic, I would say almost once in a generation. I mean, Mo Salah is an absolute legend, an overused word, but entirely accurate for Mo Salah. Iconic for our club, and missed it.
Wow. What did you say to your wife when you got home?
I couldn't talk about it. I mentioned it on so my family WhatsApp group were like, "Oh my God, Tom, I can't believe you were there. It just went brrr, with all my cousins and nieces and nephews, and we're all Liverpool fans in my family, all just going, fuck you, Tom, I can't believe you were there." I was sitting in a cab going,
No, I wasn't.
No, I don't know how I can tell them that I wasn't there. My son was happy as though he was like, "Yeah, it's great. Can I play on the Switch on the train?" I'm gonna fucking shove that.
Fair play.
It is a cruel game.
It is a very cruel game. Right, Sam's favourite question.
I love this one. It's a double-edged question.
Yes.
Firstly, who or what is your football guilty pleasure? And then secondly, who or what would you put in Football Room 101?
Football guilty pleasure. This is a good question.
Everyone says that.
Yeah, but also I really want to get it right. Okay, all right. So I'm still I wish nothing but bad things to Jordan Pickford. I just want to straight away put that out there.
That's your Room 101.
Yeah, he is. It's
just Jordan Pickford.
A voodoo doll of Jordan Pickford. So he's still out in real life, but the voodoo doll is getting microwaved. So he's just living his life, but inside he's burning, and he doesn't know why. What he did to Virgil van Dijk is, and Virgil van Dijk is completely classy. Virgil van Dijk has never spoken about it. He just has moved on. He has never talked about the
incident.
Essentially, criminal act. I'd say
criminal act. Okay.
So. That's not really a guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure. That's the problem. It's a pleasure watching Pickford have his crazy Calamity James moments. I absolutely love that.
Any Pickford era, guilty.
Any Pickford era is a guilty. Yeah, it's just a pleasure though. I think guilty pleasures. Guilty. Okay. All right. This is a good one. Right. Okay. This happened yesterday. When my son. He's decent, right?
He's decent. What do you mean? A decent footballer? Or just he's a decent bloke.
He's a decent lad. He's a good lad.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yeah. He's decent. He's a good midfielder, right? And he plays for the year above. And when he's playing for the year above, he gets substituted off. And because he's in midfield, and a couple of times now,
I know what you're going to say.
He's been subbed off, and then the
bloke who came on has
fucked it up and goals. And I'm just like, all the parents around me are going, "Oh, come on!" And I'm going, "Oh, yeah, it's so annoying." Like, you put my lad back on, guys. That wouldn't have happened. So,
rolling subs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do. He comes back. Then he comes back on. That's what happens. They screw up, and he comes back on. Then at the end,
that's a really proud dad moment, isn't it?
Mate, watching my son play football is the greatest pleasure of my life. It's unbelievable. It's. Oh, I can't explain it. I don't have the words, but. He's very, very good, and I don't know how. I don't understand because I'm hopeless at it. And he goes in midfield and he pulls the strings, and he's just we went to watch Arsenal Liverpool in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, and a mate of mine got us into the director's box, and we sat on heated seats to watch this game, right? And I know it's mental. There's a little button you press and the seat warms up, so it feels like you pissed yourself, right? Which most Arsenal fans should be familiar with that feeling anyway. And we're sitting there and we're surrounded by all these ridiculous businessmen. They've all paid through the nose. They're all connected to the regime at Arsenal. And if there's one thing my son loves more than anything else, it's Thiago Alcantara, right? He's got Thiago on his shirt. He watches YouTube videos of Thiago. He worships the guy. He wants to know how many assists he's got. He will try and mimic everything he does. He goes outside on our street and tries to hit that low fizzing ball that Thiago scored a goal with earlier on in the season. He's obsessed with him. Thiago's weakness, we all know, is that he gets injured quite easily. And during the Arsenal-Liverpool game, the semi-final, Thiago was out. And it never occurred to me. The Liverpool ownership were there. All their chief scouts were there, just about 6 rows in front of us. And I'm sitting there, and Thiago Alcantara walks past us.
Your son loses his mind.
And I'm like, Thiago. He's like sitting there. He's not an emotional boy, my son. He's quite straight-laced. I'm a big, a loudmouth actor, and he's just very kind of controlled. He's like, oh, God. But the second half's still to come. So we watch the second half, and the whole time I can see the back of Thiago's head, and I'm like, the hell do I do? What the hell do I do? What the hell do I do? So I come up with this plan, and I say, right, here's what you got to do, lad. Because he's, when you got a kid, you can do. It's like, right, you stand there. It's going to be fun. And then my son's like, I can't. He starts, Daddy, I can't do it. I can't. What if he says no? I'm too shy. I'm like, I've got this. So the match finishes. I leap up, right? Like I'm about to fucking climb, do full Crocodile Dundee, a reference you're too young to get, and start climbing over the crowd. I nip round to this point that I know he's going to come past. Thiago starts walking up. He says, he gives a big, there's all sorts of backslapping going on to the Liverpool owners and scouts and all that stuff. Then he starts walking up. And he's got his little, I think his daughter or son is about 1.5. So he's holding his fingers and the kid's sort of toddling along. And I'm like, oh God, I've got to interrupt him with his kid. I've got to ask him to get rid of his kid. So I just put myself in front of him. I went, Thiago, hi, I'm really sorry, but my little boy, and then my son just appeared next to me. He said, I said to him, you've no idea this guy adores you. He's got your name on the back of his shirt, which we didn't wear that night because you're not allowed to wear your shirt to the box. Yes, I was gutted about that because I could have spun my son around and gone, look what's on his back.
There's the proof.
There's the proof. Yeah, right, exactly. Because you might think I'm bullshitting. I was about to get my phone out and start going, look, here's the pictures of him with you. And he's the nicest guy. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So he gets a picture with my son, and he's delightful. And he walks off, and I look at my son, and my son just has tears.
Mad.
Wow.
He's got tears. It was beautiful. Imagine being 9 years old, and the guy on the back of your shirt, you meet him. It was fantastic. It was sensational. It was brilliant.
Oh, that ties in very nicely to the next question.
Oh yeah,
Is it mine or yours, Al? I think it's.
I know. I think it's mine actually. Yeah. Well, you kind of more or less answered it, really. To be honest.
Fine. I'll backdate it. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there we are. What does the game mean to you?
There you are. That one.
Refer to my previous one. There we are.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Great.
Easy. Sorted. What has been your favourite football moment of this season?
Favourite football moment of this season has been, I went to watch Watford, Liverpool, and Watford were pretty weak. But Mohamed Salah, very kindly, because I couldn't see his goal against City because I didn't go to that game, but he perfectly recreated the goal where he went past about a dozen players. It was the identical goal. So going to Watford with my mate James Redmond, who's you should get him on this actually. He's a massive Liverpool fan. Have a gap. You don't want two Liverpool fans on the bounce, but he's a top lad. He loves talking football as well. So watching Watford Liverpool was delightful and much closer to home than actual Anfield.
Oh yeah, of course. You popped over to what? Yeah,
that's good.
Fair play. It was nice of Salah to recreate the goal.
Good of him. Mo, show us what you did a couple of weeks ago. That's it. Yeah,
that was the one. Right, there we are. Fair play. Right.
I skipped to question 10. I would admit.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him anyway, just quickly.
Okay.
Just in one word. Well, 1 word or 2 words. Who's going to win the Premier League?
City.
There we are. Thank you very much. Question 10.
And we'll wrap it up. What is overall, of all the things, your favourite football memory?
Oh, do I have to choose something I've already said, or has it got to be something?
It could be either.
The favourite one. Your most favourite.
Thing about this, what I love about this podcast is sometimes when us comedians go on podcasts, we're trying to be funny, we're trying to think outside the box and be a bit different. What I love about this is I'm like, no, I've got to give an honest answer.
You've got to be honest, yeah. Honesty is the best policy.
Well, okay, I've got it. My favourite football memory was going to watch... I've got it here. Can I get it? Can I get you a...
Go on.
It's not very helpful for an audio medium.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We do check it on YouTube as well, not to worry.
Oh, great. Okay, here we go then. So it's a bit of show and tell. In 20... I think it was 18 or 19. I was at work. I was working at Magic Radio doing breakfast, sitting in for Ronan Keating. And someone texted me saying, you can get tickets to go and watch Liverpool Torino in end of July, I think it was, because it was a warm-up game, right?
Okay.
It was beginning of Klopp's second year or third year, I think it was. And so I was like, I'll have a look, I suppose. And there were loads of tickets available because they'd just come up that morning. They'd started at 8 a.m. You didn't have to be a member. You didn't have to have any credits. It was dead easy to get, and they were cheap as well because my kid was coming with me. So I genius, mate. So I went with my eldest son. I went with my 2 nieces and my brother as well, right? So there were 5 prices on our first sort of all of us going. First time my kid had gone to Liverpool. The football was great, but I mean we were on the right by the front in the. This is a lot of detail. Unless you're a Liverpool fan, you're not going to care. The main stand, just in the far right. So we saw Salah. Salah was running down our wing for the second half. Brilliant. We saw him up close. It was incredible. At the end of the game, we were like, right, let's go home. And my niece, Audrey, said, let's just wait a sec. Just wait a sec. Because there was something up. There was something going on. And we were like, all right, okay. And we noticed there was cheering. The game had finished because it was a warm-up game and Klopp was beginning this emotional connection with the club. He really wanted to forge all these ties and he wanted to try and get a bond thing going on and get that special connection, which all managers try and do, of course. He's coming back out. And I'm like, oh my God. The players are all coming back out and they're coming, and this is pre-COVID, they're coming to really come and meet the fans, come right up to the fans.
Audrey knows something. Audrey was on to it, yeah.
On this, mate.
She was orchestrating it.
So obviously I was like, yeah, but we've got a 9.5-hour journey. All right, okay, come on, let's stand there. And I'm Mr. Dad. I'm like, I want to get the car. We've got to get snacks. We've got to get some petrol. We've got to get cracking. So we stand there and they come out and Klopp heads straight for our corner. He comes straight over to us, and we're right at the front. And I'd bought a program, and then here he is, look, frame now.
He signed it.
He signed. Wow. That's a Klopp signed program, and then we got a selfie with me, Klopp, Jurgen, as I call him now because I know him.
Yeah, I was going to say
my son, both my nieces, all in one photo. So
mad.
That was brilliant, and that's what I love about it as well, because it. As you can tell by the fact I've waffled on for hours tonight, it's just loads to talk about with your family and your friends. It just gives that kind of, all these WhatsApp groups, we're all going on about stuff all the time, whatever's happening. It's just that all those connections between you and the club, between you and your family, between everyone who gets into it. It's magical, and that was awesome. And I see that I've got the photo. In fact, there. This is the photo of me with if you can see that.
Yeah, oh wow, you were close. One question about that, right?
Yeah, go on.
We've been we've had a little chat to a friend of ours who comes on, and we were talking about Klopp. Do you remember, Sam? We were talking to me about him.
Yeah. And
we couldn't work out how, like, his what was we said he had a nice.
He had his teeth done.
Nice, yeah. Or does his breath stink? Be honest with
us. Listen, mate, he had his mouth closed at the time.
Yeah.
More importantly, the bigger question about Klopp from that episode, which I'd like to resurrect and bring back.
Does he like?
What does he have on his pizza?
Yeah.
What do you think Jurgen Klopp has on his pizza?
Go on. You are now the closest person we know to Jurgen Klopp. So
this is like the kind of cutting edge journalism you get on Send Him Off.
This is the reason we're in the game.
Yeah. What does Klopp have on his pizza? Oh my God, that is a great question. And the answer is I'm trying to think of something funny, and I'm struggling.
Well, just to give you like a bit of a taster, when we were doing it with our friend, we were convinced, or rather, Amy and Sam were more convinced that he had tuna on a pizza.
No,
something ridiculous.
He likes something weird. He likes something weird on a pizza. He does, I think.
Breakfast.
Either that or like a meat feast.
Yeah, I reckon he's a big meat eater. He's a big smoker, Klopp.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah. I thought you were joking, Sam.
No.
He's a big
this time I thought you were on me.
So he has little pepperoni Nicorette patches.
There we are. Exclusive.
You heard it here first and last.
An exclusive from someone who knows him.
Who knows Klopp personally. Calls him Jurgie.
Friend of mine. Friend of your show, guys. Friend of the show, Jurgen.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Good old Jurgen. And on that bombshell, as they say on top here. I think we'll wrap up what football means to me tonight. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, guys. Did I mention I'm a Liverpool fan? Did I drop that in? You got that?
Oh, you might have.
A Liverpool fan?
Yeah.
For the avoidance of doubt, who do you support?
Yeah.
I love them Blues. Oh, no, wait.
Lovely. Yeah, Tom, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Do you want to take a couple of moments just to plug any social medias, any podcasts?
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, guys, I do a podcast called My Mate Bought a Toaster when I get comedians and celebrities Amazon purchase history. So I log into a whole bunch of people's Amazon accounts and I go through everything they've ever bought to tell their life story. So if you want to check out that would be ideal. My Mate Bought a Toaster. Thank you.
You're very
welcome. There we are. Sorted.
Thanks, guys. That was really good fun. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. We'd love to have you back on at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Several other ideas I'm sure you'd be perfect for.
Yeah, just let me know.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you guys for listening as well. You can find us with Send Them Off if you're not aware already. If you're new, you can find us on Twitter at Send Them Off Pod, Instagram, Send Them Off Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening now. chuck us a follow, chuck us a
Do
like.
you know what? Do you know what? I miss the days where you said Twitter pod what was it? At Send Him Off Pod C1.
Yeah, something like that. No,
it's not that anymore.
Anyway,
it was.
I miss those days.
Thank you guys for listening. Enjoy the FA Cup final weekend if you're going, if you're watching.
Go on, Liverpool. Go on, Liverpool.
I think Liverpool are playing, and
Liverpool are playing some other team.
Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your football, and we'll see you next week. Ta-ra.
Take care.